So the tendon trick.
The tendon.
You did this in something else.
We get that nice flat, wider looking top to the leg, and there's actually a second piece in here. Just a touch of realism. Okay, I'm gonna take a 4-inch piece, quarter it. I don't need too much for this. And then stretch these out. And then you're gonna wrap about a 2-inch section of a toothpick. Nice and tight. Out and back.
Donkey? Would you have done this in the donkey?
I don't know if we did or not. It's not something I used to do on the donkey, but I know. I mean, I did it on the horses, but they're huge. We actually made bones on the horses. Just roll it in my fingers, in my hands, and then I can stab it a little bit. And we need 2 of those. Doop-de-doo. It's a good detail.
How good this microphone is.
If it's
hear
picking
the
up.
belly? Can you hear the fly?
I know, it seems super quiet, but it's not if you just listen.
I can hear you rapping.
Yeah. We're gonna make a felting wrap, Milo.
We need a lot of extra time.
I know, we have a lot of really fun ideas. But we are just sticking with the hard work here.
Yes.
The laborious
Come on, the workout video.
felting tutorials.
The workout video.
The workout video will be really fun. I really want to see you in spandex. Okay. Now,
You and the rest of the world.
I know, with your little fur sticking out everywhere. I just set this against that upper leg bone and use my other piece to hold it on. Really thinly, evenly, don't want no lumps. Then when we get to the hock, kind of exaggerate it, and then we're going to go ahead and make that hock triangle with a few crisscross. So I'm going here and here. Let me get that little piece stuck in there. There we go. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to do any more. Fabulous. Fabulous.
I'm gonna really zoom this next one.
Okay. Okay, good. That's a good idea. Because I didn't talk very much, and I should talk more about what I'm doing. Let's do this. Poke that back the other way here. Stabbing kind of in between the bone and the tendon. That would be the armature and the toothpick shape. It's cool, right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's do it again. I can't really stab this into place. I just have to hold it while I wrap. And I try to keep this ribbon flat and thin and smooth so that it makes a nice even upper leg here. This is where your practice is important. These details are not complicated, but the practice makes them hopefully look nice.
Well, the more you do, the less fumbly your fingers
Yep.
are with the fiber.
Yep. Did you zoom?
It's zoomed.
Good. Awesome. Nice. We got some shapes to make now.
Nice.
Yes. We're going to use off-white chunky core. And we're going to make a chest. So let's take a 6-inch piece and get a quarter. I'm not sure if this is quite enough, but... And then, oh, my Zulito's. I buttered it.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Well, now my thing's not going to slide off. You want to wrap a 2-inch rectangle. They don't have a super deep chest, so if your 6-inch piece stretched out wasn't enough, you can add a little bit more. But I just want to be able to go out and back and have this nice little 2-inch pillow. And then we're going to put it, the one end is going to tack right at the base of the neck on each side. And then the other end just comes back between the legs, between the front legs, wherever it ends. And I don't felt it totally flat. I create a little bit of a kind of a pinch or a right angle there. Okay, good. Then we need a butt bone. I like to make a little butt bone. So I'm going to take the other half of a quarter of a 6-inch piece and wrap a 2-inch area okay, well, not quite 2 inches, like 1.5 inches on the round end of the Zulitool. Try and make a nice even little, not using quite all of that, really nice and even little shape. Slide that off, hold it firmly between your thumbs and your index fingers and give it a little tug, and that makes a dent. And then felt the dent under the tail. You're making a little tushy here.
You're technically making a butt crack.
Well, right now I'm making a butt crack, but what this piece represents is the sit bones, your sit bones. Because we don't have that really in the armature. And deer have this nice white bum. So we want it to have an accurate shape.
It's a good day when you can make a butt.
Yes, it is a good day. Look how cute. Little butt. Oh, boop, boop, boop. Okay. Soft hip to butt bone pillows. That's my notes.
That's good. Soft hip
To butt bone
pillows.
pillows.
You gotta make a little hip and connect it to the butt bone pillow.
How did I do that? Softly. This is the other half of our 6-inch piece. I'm splitting it into quarters.
Softly you must make the butt bone hip pillow.
And I'm gonna roll it. So soft kind of means if I roll it in my hands, it's too much. If I roll it in my hands, it's a little softer shape than if I wrap it on the Zulitool. Okay, so that's too much. So what I'm gonna do is split this in half. So I have 2 3-inch pieces now, and I'm just gonna do that again. And I'm thinking rectangle. And then I'm going to let one end taper towards the butt bone and the other end fold it over to give it a little dimension. They don't have a huge hip bone, but we do want to get a little bit of wool there. So I'm just letting that taper back. And then I'm giving this that hip bone shape right there, a little pucker. Like I'm not just felting it flat. I'm felting it kind of like we just did the chest into, so I'm coming from this angle and then this angle. So now I've got another little rectangle. I'm going to stretch it out, and I'm going to put the stretched out end, I'm going to come back and fuzz into the butt bone. And then this end, I'm going to fold over the back and make this hip bone. Okay. They have a really square, reference pictures would be good. Stifle right here. It's just a really squared off. It's so well covered up, you can't even see it. So I make an actual right angle to kind of accentuate this bone. We have it a little bit rounded, but I want to make a right angle to make it look as if this bone is jutting out right here. So I'm going to take this other 6-inch quarter and split it in half into 3-inch pieces. And then I'm going to restack that into a nice little square. And I'm going to stab a right angle. So I've got my center line, and then off of that, I'm going 45 and 45. And I want to round that corner out. And so you're making a triangle, keeping that corner, instead of the corner getting kind of like flat and pointy, I'm kind of stabbing it in on itself to keep some dimension there. So I'm going to restack my 3-inch piece. You're in my light, girl. Okay. And then stab a center line, and then stab 45 and 45. I love making shapes. It's so amazing, really, this whole process. So I want this to kind of come vertical, and then this can just sort of wrap around the top of the leg there. So for now, you're tacking it on, but it's kind of sticking out off. You'll see when I flip it over. It's sticking out off the leg bone, and then this can come around. But it's all going to come together. We just need that thicker thigh, and making the shape rather than wrapping is going to give us the right dimensions and look. Are you having any thoughts? You're very quiet.
I'm wondering, so when you work, do you have skeleton pictures just to make the armature, or do you use the skeleton for the bones and then?
Yeah, I think the skeleton is a great way to start sketching out your project. Skeleton pictures for sure, because what you don't make in complex armature, you need to make in wool, at least visually. You got to figure out how to make this craft come together using the techniques that we have to represent the animal, or at least I do try to make it in the most realistic way. Okay, now we need bellies, and I need quite a bit of wool to make these bellies. So we need a nice like 12-inch piece of off-white core, and we're going to split it in half lengthwise. And we're going to stretch it out a little. Make it smooth. You might not need quite all of this, but what you're after is a 3-inch rectangle. So I'm going to wrap out and then this is a pretty chunky, so I'm stretching it out and then back. She's going to be looking like she's going to birth another baby. And I'm just making sure that stays put before I slide it off. And then we have another half to do it again.
It's just going to be her post-baby body.
Her post-baby body. My pickle deer. Okay. And then back. This piece wasn't quite as thick as the other one, so I used the whole thing. When you wrap these, you kind of, I do anyway, end up with a wider side and a thinner side. So if you have that, put the wider side towards the back. And then this gets tacked on, kind of, the top of this shape is probably just under the armature that's in there. And I'm letting it blend together with the, kind of taper out with the hind leg. So it's not totally on the side. But it ends up, that little poof ends up coming together with the other little poof, you'll see. Hard to tell which side's fatter on this one, I think that is. So I'm mainly tacking the top edge. And if I do tack this down, I want to make sure that I don't lock the leg up. You want to keep the leg independent all the way up to the armature. Okay. Now we need to make shoulders, and I'm doing that on okay, we're going to do that on the Zoli tool, and we're going to do it on the center. So take a 6-inch piece of wool and quarter it. Stretch it out. And then it looks like this. You wrap around the round side, then you angle up to the flat side, go around the flat side, and then angle down. And I'm always stretching out my wool so that I get the most amount of wraps and so that it's nice and smooth and consistent. But you really don't want much more wool than that because they don't have a great big chunky shoulder. Okay, wrap the round end, come up at an angle, wrap the flat side, come back down, and then see if you can do it again. And I can do it again because I keep stretching my wool out.
You know, deer can swim well.
I didn't know that.
They can jump high, which you would expect with those legs.
So you want the skinny part to come down onto the leg, and then the wider part to come up. And they kind of have shoulder blades, but they don't stick way up like a wolf or a predators. But they're there. So yeah, we don't want these to get too round and poofy and muscle bound. We want them to stay flat and on the thin side. So Do whitetail does have antlers? I think they don't, but I think some varieties of deer females do have antlers. Well, reindeer do, but they're kind of different.
My facts said the only female deer that has antlers is a caribou.
Yeah, that's
as many as one in every
deer.
65 white-tailed deer may grow antlers. Female deer can grow antlers if they have higher than normal testosterone levels.
We still have a half of a 6-inch piece, so I want to split that in half. So now I've got quarters again, and then I want to take one of these and split it in half this way. So I have 2 3-inch quarters. And then I just want to roll a soft pillow that's going to bring the shoulder together with the chest. That might even be a little bit much. Take a little bit off of that. So a little sort of 1/2-inch pillow. And then it's just, there's a kind of a big dip here. So I'm going to angle it so the fringe meets the shoulder and the fringe meets the chest. So it's a little bit of a 45 degrees. So this helps. They kind of, their neck, in our armature, their neck came right up off the spine, but visually it kind of looks like their neck is set lower and curving up. And so having this shoulder and chest creates that look. At some point I'm going to have to get out a reference picture because I'm kind of just going by memory right now. But
in 2014, a deer hunter in Kansas got an 8-point trophy that was part of a doe, not a buck.
Oh, wow. Wow, she had a lot of testosterone. So fascinating.
1 in about 10,000 is what one Missouri biologist says.
Okay.
It's not often.
All right, so now we've got these pillows on. So if I remember correctly, on this deer, to make the back line seem really straight, I folded a piece to put on the back to meet these hips. But on this one, I feel like she's pretty straight, but I guess I can do that anyway. Just gonna roll it in my hands, kind of creating a top line that makes sense visually. And I'm going to meet the hips and just barely come to the shoulders. If you look at images, profiles, they really have a very square, rectangular body in the end. They don't have... Alright, so that just gave me a flatter back. Now I can wrap this whole kit and caboodle with a long piece of core wool. And it will look seamless. So I'm going to take a 12-inch piece because I need it nice and long. And I'm going to take a quarter. Yeah, I think it'll be easier to work with a quarter. Stretch it out a little. And I might need both quarters, but I'd rather work a quarter at a time. And then I'm just going to wrap this entire torso. And I'm going to take that second quarter and keep going here.
So antlers freak me out a little bit.
Why?
Every year they fall off and regrow.
Oh, I know.
And then they're covered in that velvet,
Yes.
which is really nerves and blood vessels.
I know, they're incredible.
So they grow quickly.
Mm-hmm.
It's just weird.
Mm-hmm. That's the difference between antlers and horns. That's why.
Ah.
Yeah.
So, what other species have things that grow like that fall off that regrow?
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot that we just don't, really realize. All right. I'm happy with that. You happy with that?
Yep.
Guess what? We get to put top coat on now.
Ooh.
Actually, I think before we do that, just to keep things consistent, I'm going to do a little bit more on the neck and head. I feel like it just needs a little more before this gets top coat. So, I have several pieces here that I'm going to use rather than pull more. But I've got a nice thin quarter here that's all stretched out that I'm going to go up and down on the neck with. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the head. I'm going to go to the nose and back and kind of try to build up the back of that head a little bit more. So my goal is tapered towards the top on the neck and wider at the bottom. Yeah, that's just looking a little bit more substantial, like what I need it to be. And then on the head, let's see what kind of pieces I have here. Like a 4-inch piece all stretched out. I'm going to stick to the back of the head a little bit longer, kind of wrap that and get it built up. And then after I go around 3 times or so, I'm going to come down towards the nose and let it turn into nothing. So really trying to get that cone shape. And nice and tight. This wrapped armature needs to be nice and tight because your face pieces are going to incorporate into it. They become one with it. Okay, we're at the point of some top coat color. And I think I'm going to start with the legs because then we'll be able to work the body colors into it. And I'm just wrapping the legs with the slightest, so just to show you, you've got 3 colors here. This is the tawny. I'm going to wrap the legs with tawny. Deer come in all kinds of color depths and variations, but I worked out these proportions so you have the most tawny, so I would do the legs in tawny. So I'm going to pull a thin strip and then work with I don't know, maybe like 6 or 8 inch pieces and simply wrap down the leg.
So you're not wanting to really add more to the leg, just
no,
cover.
I'm going to do a little with this top coat. I didn't want to do it with core because it would get to be too much, but I'm going to do a little crisscross wrap to make the joint here. And I'm doing this all in one piece, but if you need to use separate pieces, that's fine. I'm going to exaggerate that bend a little bit. And I'm going to go around the top, and then come around the bottom bone, and then come around the top bone, and then come around the bottom bone. And do that a few times until you have a little built up joint. And then what I'd like to do is to have enough top coat just to come down and meet the hoof and cover that black to the size that I want the hoof to be. Does that make sense? Like,
yep.
Yeah. So hopefully your piece worked out as well as mine did. Oh, with that needle, I'm looking for this is my 38. Just strong enough to get some, make sure that's all really stuck. Okay. So since we already have our knee shape and our thicker leg, we can just take this and just go right down. So quiet. Exaggerate that angle. And then give it extra wrapping, crisscross, and then take this down around that black hoof area. I might need another tiny little piece because that isn't as neat as I want it to be. Here we go. This is a fun, good spring project. Are we still in spring? Did we make it? Did we make it into spring?
Yes. Summer's not
good.
until June, right?
Good, good, good. We're cutting it close. We wanted to have it for Mother's Day, or for Sheep and Wool on Mother's Day.
Oh, we're close.
We're close. Okay, and then the same treatment. Oh, they look so pretty. Same treatment on the hind legs. I still have enough of my strip here, I think, to get both. Just starting at the top of the hind leg. Gonna hit that angle maybe one time so that it really covers that hock joint. And then come down, keep it skinny, try and get my joint here. If I need to pull another piece, I can. And then come down onto the hoof. I need a tiny bit more there.
So the dog that is forced into the woods will not hunt many deer, according to a Danish proverb.
Yeah, he's gotta want it.
Some of these really just don't even make any sense.
Yes, we've concluded that. We've pretty much...
So it must be the translation.
Yes, it's not that people never make sense.
No, it's the translation.
People always make sense.
I mean, they've got to come from somewhere.
Gotta be some reason for these dang proverbs.
An American proverb.
Just saying proverb makes it sound wise.
Yes.
But there some of them really are not.
Tigers and deer do not stroll together. Is that like stating the obvious?
See, leave it to the Americans to be precise, to have some.
Just say it.
Just say it. No mystery about it.
I mean, you kind of want to follow it up with like a duh.
Tigers
and deer do not stroll together.
We don't even have tigers here. Why is that something
Why
we
are we
say?
talking about tigers?
And do tiger or deer stroll independently? They don't.
Deer, well, no. I would think tigers prowl.
Yeah.
Saunter. Do deer stroll?
No.
Who strolls?
Not many animals stroll. elephants, what would the word be? They have this kind of like cadence when they walk.
It's somewhat lumbering though, no?
Yeah. But maybe they stroll. Maybe elephants stroll.
I wonder if that's the mail truck. We'll know soon enough.
Dogs are gonna bark.
Alright,
Okay.
so what's next?
Okay, well I've got like a 3" by 1" piece of tawny that I just want to make a simple wrap around this stifle area to bring all of that together. So it's kind of like a band-aid that you're gonna, angle down and up. And then when we put the pelt on, it's gonna blend into that. But we just need to get it going on here. And then in the inside of the leg, can you see how that covered that stifle piece that we made? In your kit you'll have some oatmeal, looks like this, and you just want to use a little bit of fuzz of it to bring the off-white together with the tawny. So now that is finished, that area anyway. So on this side it's like this. We got a nice flat ribbon. Come down, cross back up.
One side's always more awkward than the other, yes?
Yep, for me anyway. And then come at the inside and get that oatmeal there. I love oatmeal. The color. I love oatmeal too. Should make it more often. Okay. Okay. Now we're going to do the same thing to the front legs. Just get a piece coming up on the shoulder here so that when we put our pelt on, it's all going to blend together. So I've got more like a 2 to 3 inch little 1/2 inch strip here. I think I'm going to go around the whole thing. It feels like it needs to be held together a little bit. Now who's here?
I don't know. It sounds like the same truck.
Get ready to bark. So I did both sides with that little piece just to start on the body, come around the leg, and return to the body. So now when I put the pelt on, the fringe will just, blend right into what's here. And it should be good.